Something that I wish I knew last year is not to be silent about racial inequality towards Black people. I believe we all should care about Black lives. We should not subject ourselves to silence during times of civil rights movements. Silence is being compliant to the injustices caused by the system and government. Instead, we should amplify the voices of the unheard. As an Asian American, I think this conversation should be more talked about in my community to end the racial biases Asians have over Black people and to end this model minority stigma. I also think it's very important to talk about this topic and continue to do so, especially with the murders of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Elijah McClain, and many other Black and brown people who have died at the hands of police brutality. We have to help those who have to face racism and racial inequalities in their everyday life. Black and brown people deserve to live in a non-racially biased society that does not reject and neglect their successes. When I see police brutality and racism through social media and news outlets, it always triggers anger in me. I would talk to my friends about it, but I knew that was not enough. I felt like I couldn't help those people and always asked myself, I'm not Black, so why does it affect me? The problem right there is the thought of I have to be Black to care about a Black person's life. That's a privilege right there. Just because I am not of a certain race doesn't mean I shouldn't care or it doesn't affect me. We need to understand that everyone but Black and brown people have privilege, and it is true. We can't deny it. We have to accept that fact. Privilege of silence towards issues involving race. This is called the bystander effect. The bystander effect is when an individual is less likely to help a victim in distress when there are other people present, because the individual assumes that the other people will help. So the greater the number of bystanders, the less likely it is for someone to help. As Asians, our privilege is being the model minority. For those of you who do not know what being the model minority means, it is a specific minority, typically Asians, that are viewed as successful or better than other minority groups. The model minority is what I would say is the main divide between the Black community and Asian communities, because it values Asians and makes Asian Americans fall under the status quo, which also causes people to say, if they can do it, why can't you? Asian Americans need to stand for Black lives and not fall under white supremacy and subjugate ourselves into silence in a time of racial inequality towards Black and brown people. We have to use our voices and amplify Black voices in order to end this racial divide between communities. I am using this project as an opportunity to amplify the voices of the Black Lives Matter movement in order to create a conversation and awareness of the inequalities of society and the justice system. I wouldn't say this is a solution, but it is a start. My takeaway for the future of this topic is always to educate myself and others. And I would also like to add that I am always going to educate myself and hope that this project will help you all educate yourselves as well. I hope to spread the message of the Black Lives Matter movement so we all can make a change. Thank you for listening, and remember, all Black lives matter.